This episode originally aired on November 12th, 2021 on the Unethical Podcast Patreon. Go check that out. Our client today is Beau Janssen, part of our Unethical family, wife of Christy Janssen. Not only did she marry perfectly, she's Australian. What a great combo. And hilarious. So go check her out. She's in more than 20 episodes of Unethical at this point. Celeste isolated some audio from me the other day, which was very damning.
I think every 10 seconds we could record you, and then that would be damning audio.
I've just never seen a more disgusting bag of dicks as the three dicks that are here.
Oh, okay.
Well, nice to see you too, Beau. I'm glad we made this appointment together today. Holy fuck.
I am a connoisseur of the penis, and I could not think of anything worse than the three of you cockbags.
Where the fuck did you get an actual pirate's chest?
You know what? People usually find us charming, Beau.
No, you are. You're so cute.
Are you just here to berate us, or are you actually going to bring us something to fucking case? What's this giant fucking, what is this?
What are you talking about? You're talking about my giant chest?
Yeah,
and by that, I mean the wooden one I'm holding. Badunch. Yeah. No, I've got a giant chest of money. Do you want it?
Yes, for sure.
There's a catch.
What's that?
Okay, there's a woman, Paula Jean Welden. I need you to sort it out. I'm not going to give you any further details. I need you to use your big boy pants. And
I see what you're saying, and I'm cool with that. But we have to kind of see what's in that chest, because I've been tricked a lot of times. If it's a fucking chest full of like dildos or something, I'm going to be very upset. It needs to actually be money this time, because these guys are getting frustrated with me.
To be fair, that's a very valid fear. If I had a chest and I was walking around and someone said, "Can I see what's in your chest?" There is like a more than 50% chance it's a chest of dildos. So that's more than fine. You can have a look at it. Would you like to open it? Do you want me to? Here.
Do you want me to open it? I'll open it. Okay.
Yeah, you open it. You go for it.
Holy fuck. There's gems. There's gems in here.
Yep. There is semi-precious gems in there.
Holy fuck. Is that bars of platinum?
No, it's titanium.
Oh, just to weigh it down. I see. Okay, we can do that. All right, boys. Little does Beau know, I know everything about this case already.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Wow. Did you guys see? Was there diamonds in that fucking chest? All right. So what we're doing today is solving the disappearance of a lady named Paula Jean Welden. Not Paula Dean, which would be a little different. I don't want to deal with that lady.
Why not?
Paula Jean. She looks like she's a little scary compared to me,
Compared to you?
Yeah. I can't deal with scary people.
I wouldn't have thought of the term compared to. I don't know who's comparing. Are you a big cook?
Compared to myself. No.
Are you a big cook, or do you just say racial slurs a lot?
Racial slurs? I would never.
Ever?
Well, I have.
Well, now I'll compare you to
What year did it drop off of your vocabulary?
What year? What? 1998, I think, is when the last one finally fell off. I added my last one.
When they found out OJ was innocent, I ended it fully.
I'm not talking about the bad ones.
None of the bad ones. Is there good racial slurs?
I'm talking about white racial slurs that I can use because I'm a white man. Like honky, I use it all day. Cracker, get in here, cracker.
Saltine American, I prefer.
Saltine, yeah, that's less offensive. I don't like the less offensive ones. Cracker is the one I go with. All right, so Paula Jean Welden was born October 19th, 1928 in Stamford, Connecticut. She was the oldest of 3 sisters. Her father, and this is only for gets. I only put this part in for gets because I want to see if you know what this is, because I didn't. Her father was a well-known industrial engineer, architect, and designer working for Revere Copper and Brass. His name is William Archibald Welden. He invented many things, but his most famous thing that he invented is a piece of Art Deco, and it's called the Empire cocktail shakers, or the Zephyr cocktail shakers. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is that make someone famous? And they're just like cocktail things that look funny. Like, have you ever heard of these? You're a drinker. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. You're from the future. I forgot.
No, I have never heard of these things.
Yeah, me neither. But anyways, he's a well-regarded, well-known man in his field. The blue-eyed, strawberry blonde Paula Jean graduated from Stanford High School in 1945 and headed to Bennington College in Vermont the year after. She was majoring in art, but some said she was dissatisfied with her major and was going to change it. She was very small. She was 5'5", 120 pounds. She had a vaccination scar on her thigh and a scar under her left eye. Those are the only features that they put in her missing poster. She had many interests, including, and this is an astronomical list of things to be interested in, I think, like to do on a regular, but I mean, she was 18. But she interests included swimming, biking, skating, hiking, camping, square dancing, playing the guitar, and botany. Like, I barely do any of those things.
You don't partake in a little botany every now and then?
I definitely know nothing about the weed I smoke, but I definitely smoke it.
Wait, you say that. Is it legal there?
Yeah.
I feel like if Canadians were against smoking weed, America would already have legalized it.
Well, hey, we got on the good side of that coin for once. You guys got like Hollywood and all the good
Trump.
comedian jobs and Trump. We got legal weed. So,
Well, thank God we got Trump.
thank good God.
2024, baby.
Trump. 2024.
We're behind a Patreon paywall. That's the only reason I made that comment.
It's now right-wing podcast.
Not yet. I haven't heard you guys yet.
Breitbart, here we come.
He's gonna that just means that he's gonna brush off the racial slurs after decades.
Yeah. Did I mention Paula Jean Welden was a neo-Nazi, and that's why we need to find her? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's get Paula Dean's thoughts on that.
Yeah. I like her. Anyways, at Bennington, she worked in the dining hall. Paula Jean worked in the dining hall and stayed in the dorms there called Dewey Hall, which I find fun. Dewey Hall. On Saturday, December 1st, 1946, the sophomore Paula returned to Dewey Hall after working the breakfast and lunch shift and told her roommate Elizabeth Parker that she was going to go for a walk. Not where she was going. Keep that in mind. She just basically said, I'm going for a walk. She went and changed out of her work clothes and into her walking clothes. She had on a pair of jeans, a pair of lightweight sneakers, and she also slipped on her bright red parka that had a fur collar, and she headed out for her walk. Now, because of the bright red parka, she is sometimes referred to as the real life Little Red Riding Hood. It might be a were-dingo again. These all might get solved by were-dingos from now on.
All right.
There's a lot of fucking money in that briefcase. We have to think about this one a little bit more.
Okay, but we'll definitely pencil in were-dingo up there, and then
I'm in.
Innocent until proven were-dingo.
Yeah, exactly. So Paula was, like I said earlier, she was into hiking, and she heard of a place nearby called the Long Trail, and she wanted to hike that place for a while. She'd been talking about it with her friends. The Long Trail is just a hunting trail basically, and it was close enough to campus, but she had to get there by vehicle. It wasn't close enough to walk, really. I think it was about 15 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. I didn't look it up.
49.
Sure. 108 miles away. Close enough.
Nailed it.
It runs the whole length of Vermont, all the way up to Canada. She also asked a few friends before she left work to go for a hike with her that day, but none of them wanted to go. So, or they had plans or whatever. So she decided to go out on her own, and she never actually told anybody where she was going. I got to hammer down that enough. All right. The clothes that she was wearing was okay for the 10 degrees Celsius weather, 50-degree Fahrenheit afternoon weather, but would have been inadequate for the cold Vermont December evening. That it was calling for sub-freezing weather that night. The weatherman wasn't wrong because I went and looked up the temperatures for that day. December 1st, 43, I think I said it was. And it was minus 13 degrees Celsius, which is 9 Fahrenheit. And it snowed a few centimeters that night, or inches, whatever. So she brought no extra clothes when she left. She didn't bring any supplies. She didn't bring any money. She actually left an uncashed check sent by her parents for living expenses, uncashed in her room, like sitting on her desk. It was for $10, but I mean, 1945 money, $10 was probably a lot. By all accounts, it looked like she was just going out for a walk in the afternoon. All right. She left at about 2:30 that afternoon. And like I said, the long trail was a drive away, and it was about 10-15 minute drive. And she didn't have a car. She was seen around 2:30 by an attendant of a gas station across the street from the college named Danny Fagan.
I'm sorry. What?
Could be Fagan.
Yeah, maybe it could be.
Could have been. Who knows? He said that she was walking down the driveway of the school dormitory area, and then she saw a gravelly knoll, like a little gravel pit thing they had, and she ran up it and then ran back down the gravelly thing and then headed down towards the highway to trying to get to the long trail. She needed to get there, so she went to hitchhike basically on the highway. To me, I still I know it's 1945 and hitchhiking's not really known to be crazy, but fuck, man, how do people not think that hitchhiking's scary? Like, do you guys ever hitchhike ever?
Absolutely not.
Oh, fuck no. No, I used to do a bit about it where I just didn't know. Like, I saw a hitchhiker in like 2018 and I had no idea anybody even considered the option anymore. Like, you just have to know when you go outside, like, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Abigail,
No,
do you pick them up at all?
no, but I see them quite often. Just like sitting on the side of the road holding signs, not really holding a thumb out or anything, but
Yeah, I see some hitchhikers from time to time, but not often. This was normal back then. Little 18-year-old girl thought it was safe. Like, how do we wait till Ed Kemper raped and fucking killed people before we're like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't? Movies, I think, had more of an effect than serial killers. So
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, I just thought that what, like, I thought it was as fantastical as like dragons were. I'd never occurred to me that people actually fucking hitchhike as a form of travel.
Yeah,
It's so bizarre.
Yep, so common back then. So weird to me. Anyway, so she got picked up about 50 minutes later by a guy named Lewis Knapp. When he stopped to pick her up, he told her to be careful because she almost slipped because she was like tripping when she got in the car. Paula told him she was heading for a hike at the Long Trail near the Glastonbury Mountain. And then for the rest of the 15-minute drive, it was silence, apparently. She just never said anything until she got out of the car, and she was just like, thanks for the ride, that kind of stuff. But she didn't really say much, which maybe is just shyness. But my point is, she wasn't scared of anything. She didn't look scared. She wasn't running away from anything. It was a calm, normal, kind of silent, shy girl drive. He dropped her off at his house, like at the driveway of his house, because it was nearby the Long Trail. It's about 3 kilometers from there. From there, there's like a gap in seeing her because their next confirmed sighting is approximately 4 o'clock on the trail. So about an hour of nothing really, but she made it to the trail, which is good. She run into Ernest Whitman and his 3 friends coming out of where she was going, like where she was hiking. They were coming the opposite way. She asked them how far the trail actually went. And Ernest told her about how it goes all the way to Canada, but he'd only gone the 5 miles today, but it goes all the way up to Canada. Ernest also mentioned like, hey, maybe if you're going to be out much longer, you should probably get some more clothes on because it's about to be nighttime. It's getting cold out there, you know? And she scoffed him off and she was like, I'm good. Don't worry about me. And then he didn't. He left. Now there's a couple other sightings of Paula a little further up the trail, but a lot of them are unsubstantiated because there was another lady walking around the Long Trail the same night that kind of looked like Paula, and she was also wearing a big red parka, which is funny to me. She was just taller and she was wearing a parka, but she was also with her boyfriend. So a lot of people mistook seeing Paula that night for seeing this taller lady. There's a lot of confusion going on with that. So a lot of the stuff's unsubstantiated. There's only a couple real proven sightings of her. One of them's with that guy and his 3 buddies. Yeah, after that, she was never seen again. One of Paula's roommates noted that she hadn't come home that evening, but she just chalked that up to the fact that school is starting up again tomorrow. So Paula must be at the library studying. It was the Sunday after Thanksgiving weekend, I guess, for you guys. Most people were just getting back from their break, So maybe she thought she thought, hey, maybe she's got some studying to catch up with. It's been the holidays. I don't know. That's what her thoughts were.
That sounds like an answer you'd give somebody who just asked you, why didn't you tell anybody she didn't come back?
Yeah. It's true, actually. I thought she was at the library, or I thought she was, I don't know, at the library. What do you want from me?
I thought she just came back home from being home. Her parents dropped her off with all of her suitcases right at the library.
She was one of the few that didn't go home.
Oh,
actually,
really?
Paula Jean. So yeah, it was still the holidays, but she didn't actually go home. We'll get into that a bit later.
Well, that's sad.
The next morning, when there was still no sign of Paula, one of her other roommates notified the authorities that she was gone. At that time, when you were living in Dewey House, if you were out past 11 o'clock at night, you had to sign yourself out. And then when you came back, you had to check in with the security officer, like at the door. I guess they had a security guard. None of those things were done. Immediately after that, the college president, Lewis Webster Jones, called Paula Jean's family to see if maybe anyone had seen her at home, because she hadn't gone home. Like I said, she actually stayed for the week. Nope. The parents hadn't seen her, actually. And the mother, hearing this news, was said to have collapsed when she heard of the news of her missing daughter. She's been gone for like 12 hours. Chill guy. W. Archibald, her father, Archie. I'm going to call him Archie. Okay. That's what we're going to do for the rest of the time. He actually got in his car and headed straight to campus. Before her dad showed up, a search of the campus was done. No sign of her anywhere on the insides of the campus or in any of the residential spaces. And then she failed to attend class the morning too. And then once that happened, they were super high alert. She said maybe she stayed out somewhere. But then once she didn't show up to class, she was a very studious young lady. When that didn't happen, Mary Garrett, director of admissions for Bennington, notified William Taffers Jerome Jr., the Bennington County State Attorney. The then County Sheriff Clyde Peck was brought in to help with the search of by Travers. Sorry. The reason I'm bringing up these guys' names at all is because at that time, there was no Vermont State Police. Like, they didn't have a state police force. All they had was a state's attorney guy, an investigator, and a sheriff. That's what you got, these guys. Okay. So that being said, they didn't really have the resources to pull in a search party quickly. And also, coupled with that, people just thought she went for a walk. All they had so far for information is she's out for a walk. They did get a tip early from a cabbie. He said that he picked up a young college student and dropped her off at the bus station around 2:30 on the day of her disappearance. He couldn't positively identify her as Paula.
What year is it again?
1945.
What I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like holding up like a painting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like a giant like wall-sized painting. Like, have you seen this?
Yeah, I don't think it's such a small place that I think the cabbie would have remembered. If it was really her, I think they would have gotten by the end of it. But problem is, the tip came like a day after her disappearance anyway. So even if they did, it was her, they wouldn't have been able to figure out what fucking bus she was on. There's no debit tracking where you're using your money. It was just cash. It would have been cash, but she didn't bring cash. So the father actually arrived later that day, the first day, and he started organizing searches right away. He actually went to the school. He got classes canceled for that day, suspended for the day. So all the college people could actually help out. The sheriff was actually out going to there's a college, Williams College is like close by, and they sent about 25 volunteers to come look as well. They also rounded up a couple people from Bennington. So they had about 100 people out in the afternoon, the day after, this next day, but in the afternoon. So it was like 12 hours after she was reported. And then they start looking. They actually start going around. Actually, they got a plane that first day too, which I found was cool. They have search planes in 1945.
Wow, this must have been a very white girl.
She's very, very white, very pretty, very white, very pretty. Yeah,
it's a lot of resources for the 40s.
For sure. And right after the war, I'm sure everyone was like, I don't feel like it. I just searched for Frank on the battlefield. This isn't even the half of it yet. This is like the minor search. Don't wait until it gets crazy. The first area they went to check was a place called Everett Cave, which was on a nearby mountain. Paula said she wanted to go up there to some friends earlier that week. It's not even on the long trail. It's like on a different mountain, on Mount Anthony, with a local farmer, Henry Steele. I just put his name because it's awesome. He brought them up to the mountain, like a 20 or 25 of these 100 people, and nothing. They didn't find anything. They also started searching around the campus and the grounds around the campus. That's the rest of the people. Nothing, because they only thought she was going for a walk. They didn't know she actually thumbed it out of there somewhere. Everyone started getting a little bit frustrated, like all the college students that knew Paula, they were all getting a little frustrated with the shitty fucking search efforts, really, because it was so unprofessional, and the dad was taking charge over the cops and everything. Everyone just started getting mad about the whole thing. And then the school president started to notice how pissed the kids were, and he started to get pissed too. So the next day, the dad decides to get a bunch of flyers printed. He starts sending them around that way. Taxis and bus drivers, that's when they got that taxi thing. Canadian Border Patrol, because it's not that far from Canada. That's when they found out about Ernie Whitman after they put out the flyers, and after the dad was pissed and said, I'll do it. That's when that Ernie Whitman guy told them about how they had seen her on the long trail. So now they're like, okay, we have a place to search. We know where she was. And Archie and his buddies went out like at 6 a.m. to go check it out with flashlights before it was bright outside. He went to like where the camp was on the long trail. Also nothing. Paul was last sighted by a group of hikers near a hunt camp near the long trail called Hunter's Rest, which when checked came up empty. So Archie and his friends searched for about 30 miles, I believe it was, something like that. And then they were like, you know what? She had little shoes on in this fucking snowstorm. She would never have gone this far. So they turned back. All this time during the day, people are like, why don't you talk to the clairvoyant? There's a clairvoyant in this town over. We'll get her. She'll find her. She's really good all day long. So Archie finally cracks day 2. He's like, you know what? Let's get a clairvoyant.
I'm going to the psychic.
Yeah, I'm going to the psychic. So he gets a psychic. Her name is Claire Jepson. He went and picked her up and everything. She's in a nearby town.
Hold up one moment.
Yeah.
Her name is, she's Claire the Clairvoyant.
Yeah. I
God
bet
damn.
you Jepson is like Chinese for voyant.
Really? I'm curious where you studied Mandarin.
I never did. I make it up.
Really?
All right.
Wow.
I use hyperbole to get my point across. Yeah, so he goes and he picks up this fucking clairvoyant because everyone convinced him.
Was she hitchhiking?
Yeah, probably. She doesn't need to hitchhike. She knows when you're coming. She
Oh,
just walks out. She just walks out. You're there. She told him, oh, yes, I found your daughter. I can see her. She's under a covered bridge. Let's go find the covered bridge. And everyone was like, I know where there's a covered bridge. And they went there. And guess what, guys? Didn't find her. Shocker. Fucking shocker.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So December 4th now, they had a bunch of new leads because of all the annoyances that the dad was doing. But now since they put out the flyers, they got a bunch of leads. Now they collected more people. They collected students, professors, Boy Scouts was on the list. So weird. Imagine being like, hey, kids, you want to earn your Finding a Dead Body badge? Come on out with us tonight.
That would look so sick sewn into a sash.
Oh yeah, it'd be fucking. I'd ask if they have like a Finding a Dead Body woggle I could just wear around my neck the whole time. Yeah. So they had 30 locals. They had all these Boy Scouts, the professor, students. They had the plane still was going. And now they started focusing their efforts a little bit more. But this is 2 days in. So they followed the Highway 3A where she hitchhiked because they had heard the tip about the hitchhiking at this point as well. They continued on the woods. Some people stayed around the woods around campus because they were like, it's probably just there, right? So that's fun. And then by the evening time on the December 4th, the college president Jones issued a statement that the authorities suspect foul play and suspected that Paula's body must be concealed somewhere.
Rather than admit fault that they just can't find it.
Yeah, they went right to panicking everyone.
Surely it's concealed. It was a murder.
That's what I thought too. First thing, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're just gonna panic people. Why not just say, I don't know where she is. If you can help find her, come on, we'll do it again tomorrow. But no, they went balls deep and said, someone's been murdered. A moida. So, okay. So that was December 4th evening. Now we're on December 5th. Like I said, Archie's a well-known engineer. He actually works in New York City now, or New York and not New York City. And he decided, you know what? I know some people. I'm going to call in some favors. So he got 120 state police from New York and Connecticut to come to Vermont and assist with the search efforts.
Who is this man?
Yeah, exactly. He fucking made a shaker. Like he made like a cocktail thing. Like why is this guy famous? Why does he have favors? I don't get it, but he did.
People love drinking.
It's true. People, and especially in 1945.
The cops are like, hey, here, Archie's daughter's missing. God damn it. How can we help? I have
Yeah.
6 of those cocktail shakers on my shelf. I will lay my life down for this man.
Yeah, I know. I honestly, it's outrageous to me because look what he does. Imagine me and you went to the state police and we're like, we need you to help us out. They'd be like, get out of here, stoner.
Oh, 100%.
With this guy. So he also gets Connecticut to send a detective, Robert Rundle, and a police woman. They didn't want to call her a detective, but let's call her a detective. It was 1945. It was Detective Dorothy Scoville. I keep saying police woman. Let her be a detective. She was out there detecting. Their job was to go through all the leads and interview all the people who may or not have seen Paula Jean. Now, this stepped up the search efforts. This made it actually viable to look around for. When after this was all said and done, Archie collected nearly 500 volunteers to come look for her. So he
God damn.
5 times it in a day just using his alcohol shaker money.
Fuck.
Yeah, and he rousted up 4 more planes. There was 5 search planes flying around. Crazy. So nuts. She was so white. She was so white, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, she was 5 search plane white.
5 search planes.
They searched the Long Trail very thoroughly this time. But what they did to do this is they each filled their pockets with confetti. And as they walked, they just threw confetti on the ground to be like, we already searched there. Already searched there. Already searched there.
Well, that makes sense. It was a party.
Yeah, exactly.
Confetti. I brought
Yeah.
some glitter and macaroni and glue too. I don't know how it'll help, but maybe it'll lighten the mood. The Boy Scouts can put it on her body when they find it.
Confetti fucking badge. You don't get your dead body sash today, guys, but we got your confetti badge. Yay!
Oh,
right.
goddamn.
So now they went methodically searched all areas, including the Long Trail, campus trails, and anywhere they had looked already, basically. With the investigation skills of Rundle and Scoville, there was many tips that came in, but there was a lot of junk tips that I didn't really like, a lot of white rabbits, as they call them.
I feel like you're using gay slang here.
No, it's straight slang, dude.
Yeah.
Straight
Junk
up. Straight.
tips, white rabbits.
White rabbit is basically like a lead that goes nowhere.
Sounds like stuff you want to stuff in your mouth.
Yeah, no, a white rabbit's basically like a tip that goes nowhere. It's like it's a thing. A tip, the day that they were searching around like that, a tip came in from a waitress in Fall River, Massachusetts. Her name was Aura Telletier. All right. She said that she served a disturbed woman she swore looked like Paula. I don't know what disturbed means. It's 1945 talk, so it means like she was talking back to her man, or like she paid the bill, she was disturbed, or something to that extent. I don't know what disturbed means, but yes.
She took her jacket off without curtsying.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that woman's a devil, I tell you.
A disturbed whore.
Yeah. Yeah, it was about 9:30 at night on Monday, the day after the disappearance. And she had been eating with another man who was approximately 25 years old. She was 18 at the time, just so everyone remembers that. A little bit older than her. He had a very heavy build, and he was about 5'8". Now, apparently he was very, very drunk, and he was very abusive to Paula, which I don't know what that means either. What does abusive mean for 1945 talk? Tried to think of it like, I don't know, yelling at her?
Beating her head against the table.
Yeah, they're like, should have hit her harder, you pussy. Anyways.
Sir, if you don't stop that right now, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Yeah, just that. When he went to the counter to pay, Paula called over the waitress and asked her where they were and how far Bennington was. And she also told the waitress that she needed to get there. The girl, Paula, seemed dazed but not intoxicated. That was the end of it. I guess the guy came back and took her and they left, never to be seen again. But soon after they got that tip, Paula's father, he actually left the search group for 36 hours to investigate this lead by himself. He says later on, it's kind of weird that he fucks off for like 36 hours, I find. But he says later on that he was heading to the FBI to go inform them of what's going on and to go follow up with the waitress. So he spent 24 hours at the FBI and 12 hours. I don't know. Anyways, he went there, came back. There's other leads, like I said, people just saying that someone who fit Paula's description bought bus tickets or was like seen in a washroom somewhere. Nothing that really led anywhere. By the end of December 5th, campus president Jones this time held a press conference, and he announced that the search of the long trail was over and the searchers have done all they could. So he went from like, she's been murdered out there somewhere to like, she's not there. We're good.
Well, they had to end the search party because at the same time 11 Boy Scouts had gone missing, so they had to restart another search party.
Yeah, that's the next podcast.
Yeah. And
Where are the boys?
Ironically, they sent more Boy Scouts after them, just creating a vicious cycle.
It's just a Boy Scout eating fucking forest.
Yeah.
Is there a conspiracy? Is there a conspiracy in this one, or is there just missing people?
There's a missing girl, and there's some theories as to where she went and what's going on. Yeah, there's some weird conspiracy shit to this. Yes, for sure. We'll get to that part though. After the campus president went up there and said, "Nothing to see here anymore. We searched." Archie followed up, and he told the reporters that he was satisfied with how the search was handled, and that he and the searchers believed that his daughter was not in the area. He kept insisting that she had a crush on a boy, and I don't know if this is why she didn't go home for Thanksgiving, but we'll get into that. Like, he was like convinced someone took her away, and he was saying it a lot. Okay. But they called off the search on December 5th, but they still had volunteers looking for Paula for the next couple of weeks. A $500 reward is offered for information leading to the location of Paula. More leads did come in, but nothing worth mentioning again. All run down by the detectives and found to be nothing. So the last person to see Paula alive was a guy named Fred Gadet. Fred was a lumberjack and hunter who lived in a shack near the Long Trail. This is around 4:30 in the afternoon after she had run into the hikers. Yeah, after 2 weeks of searching and nothing, Archie goes back to New York. The search kept up in and around the Long Trail for the next month. Still no trace of Paula. Within 7 months, though, of Paula Jean's disappearance, Archie had petitioned the Vermont State Legislature to create a Vermont State Police Department. And that's why we have one now. It's because of Paula Jean. Or I don't have a Vermont State Police, but Vermont does.
Sounds more like Archie. That man is unstoppable.
He is a force. From what I've read, he's pushing lots of people.
Good Lord.
To get his shit done.
11 planes, 9,000 police officers, not enough police officers, just created an entire department of police in a state.
Yeah. A year after Paula disappeared, Detective Almo Francioni told the Bridgeport Telegram, "I don't think we ever had a good clue." Now, I don't think that's true. We'll talk about that in a bit. But when the snow melted in the spring, Archie organized another search party for 2 days with still no signs of Paula Jean because, like I said, it snowed the night she went missing. So when shit snows over, it's harder to see any disturbance or anything like that, right? So that probably made it a little harder. Then the case went cold for years. But 13 years after the initial disappearance, an unidentified skeleton was found around the area Paula was said to have gone missing. Everyone was excited. That drummed up a lot of
were they excited?
Yeah, they were. They thought Paula was finally found, and there's gonna be a skeleton. There's gonna be a skeleton. Vermont, they didn't have police. I'm sure they never have skeletons. It's not New York City where there's skeletons every day. Big city has skeletons every day. We have no skeleton.
Do you think New York City is a Halloween town?
All skeletons. As soon as people walk through their door, they rip off their clothes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bones dated back too far to be Paula's, so everyone was disappointed. All they got was a skeleton.
Did the Boy Scouts get a badge at least?
The Boy Scouts got their skeleton badge. Yes.
Nice.
So let's bang through the theories here. There's a bunch on this one. Okay. I did give all the information for everything because it's more fun to tell you during the theories, but do you guys have any theories starting off right off the bat here?
I think she ran away from her dad.
Fuck if I know. I mean, this one I'm just confused as to what I'm solving.
Well, where she is, what happened to her? Come on. We have a
She's
fucking
dead.
briefcase of money. Maybe she's dead. Maybe not.
She was 18 in 1946. If she's not dead now, I don't fucking know.
Oh,
if-
yeah. Now, yes, for sure. She probably
What
died.
if it that was the exact turning point in human history in which hitchhiking went out of fashion, and she's still trying to hitchhike to this day, but everyone just ignores her.
Everyone just fuck you.
It's just like a 94-year-old woman hitchhiking down.
That's kind of fun. I hope it's that. I hope she's out there hitchhiking on the long trail,
Yeah.
not realizing people don't use it anymore. Okay, well, let's do some theories then. First theory the cops had right off the bat was that Paula died on the gravelly knoll. You remember when
Now,
she climbed up?
What type of creature is a gravelly knoll? I'm familiar with trolls, but not.
A knoll.
Is it-
knoll.
I think it's the
large?
kind that attacked JFK.
Oh, is that what killed JFK?
Yeah, the grassy
Yeah.
knoll killed JFK.
Okay, is that like a goblin, or is it similar to like a?
It's like an embankment.
I'm not familiar with that type of creature.
You ever see his brother Robert? Kind of looks like that.
Really?
Robert Kennedy. Yeah.
No, I haven't. Now I'm picturing I don't know, like a little.
Yeah.
Like...
It was post plane crash.
Oh, okay. All right. So sort of like a zombie.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why I went after his brains then.
Everything's falling into place here. We're solving crimes we didn't even know we wanted to solve today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy off the list. All right. Yeah. So they initially thought that she might have died at the knoll. And remember when I told you about that? She ran up it and then ran down it for whatever reason and then went. It's very childlike. It made me think of a child, but being 18 is a weird time in your life. It's when you're like finally an adult or like close enough to it, you know, but you're still like fucking got your foot in the childhood thing. So I feel like she just did that every day. She would see that hill and be like, I can climb the hill, and then run up and then run down, right? People thought off the bat that maybe since they saw her do it on the way out, when she returned from the long trail, she did it on the way back. But this time on the way up, the gravel let loose and buried her, which I work in a mine. I can tell you right now, a pile of gravel can kill you pretty fucking fast if it falls on you. All right. It's not an outrageous thought to have had, but they bulldozed the fuck out of it. She wasn't in there. So pretty much not the thing, but maybe she was deeper, you know, who knows? I don't think so, but that was the original first theory. She died from being a child as an adult. What do you think of that? Kind of stupid. Okay.
Hey, Rick, I'm forwarding an image. I think it might help with the investigation here. Will you share it to your screen?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so this is a knoll. As you can see, it's very canine and human in nature.
It kind of looks like a were-dingo, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I believe it's more of a were hyena. It's very popular in the documentary series Dungeons and Dragons. So I've never heard this thing speak, but if I were to, I'd imagine its voice is very gravelly. So I don't know. You guys make your own conclusion with that.
Okay. Well, I'll
now
add
you
it to
have-
the theory list. It's on the theory list now. Okay. So
Okay.
far we have die by gravel, and the second one we have die by gravelly voice knoll. Gravelly knoll, gravelly voice knoll. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I like it. It is
Yeah.
kind of scary. This thing, I'm familiar. I knew what you were doing earlier. I just went past it, but I agree that a knoll would fuck up little strawberry blonde Paula Jean. No problem.
I mean, it has thumbs and teeth. So
I don't know though. I mean, if she braided her hair, I feel like she kind of looks like this thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I see it too. So maybe she could be the were creature. I'm not saying every mystery has to end in were creature, but it's very suspicious that one of
Look
them
at the
is
teeth. Look at the teeth.
literally
Spitting image.
It was
Yeah,
literally
it's
brought
not-
up in the story.
Okay. Well, it's not sure.
I will hear out other theories.
I'm throwing it in the theory pile. I have no problems doing that. I am actually very cool with
I'm going with whichever theory this episode does not require me to explain anything. So RJ, I'm on board right now.
Thank you. That means a lot. You usually figure everything out. So
What is
I'm so confused about how this one's even. This is just some girl went missing. I don't know what I'm solving. Don't wander into the woods and run around the knolls. I don't know.
I'm no longer confused.
Second theory, third theory, my fault, is that she just died in the woods. Okay. She went missing in a Vermont December, and she probably wouldn't have made the long trail before 3:00. Sunset for that day was 4:13. This gives her about an hour of daylight before it becomes extra dangerous to be walking around the woods.
Wow. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
No. But if she wasn't a Gnoll, she could have just frozen to death in the woods. Everyone thinks like it's super easy to find someone in the woods like that. But like I said, it snowed. So it blanketed everything. It made it hard to find any disturbances at all. And if she wasn't dressed properly or have any supplies, she probably would have been cold. So she probably would have like found a smaller area to keep warm in, somewhere to hide, something to hide under or between or underneath. Right. As much searching as they didn't really find anything within the first couple hours. Usually when someone goes missing, the first 48 is the best time to be looking. After that, pretty much statistics go that you're not going to find them. This theory is the most likely, but it's the least fun. So I don't like it. So I'm going to go fuck that theory. Right. But there is many holes to this theory anyway. Just because it's likely doesn't mean it's what happened. There was no evidence at all found of her disappearance. They didn't find, like, if she was underneath a rock or like in a tree stump or underneath something somewhere and she died that way, maybe she froze that day and then the animals weren't interested. They couldn't smell her, but they would have found parts of her clothes eventually, or a shoe or something. Nothing was ever found in the woods out there.
I think you're overestimating the searching ability of a group of Boy Scouts.
That's true. But Archie, like you said, Archie got some shit done. So I'm sure the two guys that he always had with him fucking searching were doing a good job. You're right, though. 500 people means nothing. And it's thick Vermont woods with the planes flying over. You wouldn't have been able to see much. But I feel like just a scrap of clothes, if it was animals and it wasn't purposeful, something would have been there. All right. It's the most likely, but I don't like it. So fuck that one. All right. That's what I say to that. I'm still on where Gnoll territory right now. Or I guess just Gnoll. That one. Anybody got anything to say about that? Ricky seems to think that's the one already right off the bat.
He's shaking his head no because he agrees with the.
I have nothing else to add. I'm aware that this girl went missing, and at this point, I think she's dead.
Yeah, me too.
Bold assumption.
Yeah.
Now the next theory kind of is her dad's theory that she ran away with a boyfriend. Her dad kept insisting that she ran off with her boyfriend and she started a new life somewhere else under an assumed name, which in 1945 you could easily do. Nowadays you can't really do that.
Maybe her dad killed her though.
So the theory went that she went to the long trail with nothing and met up with her boyfriend out there. She kind of like faked her disappearance, got in a car with the 5'8" fat guy who was her boyfriend. Apparently the guy was abusive from the diner, that guy. And that's why Archie went to go find her. He figured out that she was missing and then he just came back. Fuck it. That was her. And she's off with her boyfriend. I don't know. Like, you want to go run away and make a new life? You'd bring $20 with you if you had it. You know, you'd bring something. You'd bring a couple pairs of clothes. Maybe not though. Maybe this boyfriend was just like, don't worry, don't bring anything so they think you're missing. I don't know. It is out there and it is the thought that especially her dad had.
I just sent you a picture of her boyfriend.
I know this.
He was very ahead of his time with the haircut, though.
I agree. Where's this going, Richard? Where do you think? Deviantart.com. You're right.
I didn't think that, but I'm turned on by a weird half hyena, half woman. So I don't know what to say now.
Half woman. He just has a narrow waist. It's called androgyny.
Please don't disrespect Paula Dean's boyfriend.
Old man. He's a non-binary Gnoll.
Oh, sure. Boomer. Okay, boomer. All right. Next theory is that Archie's involved. Her father became a suspect in this actually at a certain point. When he disappeared for the 36 hours, the cops all thought it was weird. They started looking into what the fuck he was actually doing. And during the whole investigation, Archie just kept hammering down that Paula had a boy she had a crush on, and that had something to do with her disappearance. I'm sure of it. And he said it like there's no evidence of any of that, really. No one even said that she had a boyfriend or she was talking to guys at all. But when the cops started asking about the dad when he was away, they were starting to find out that the whole home life situation with them wasn't as idyllic as the dad made it out to be. He wasn't the greatest of parents. believe it or not. He's the guy who made alcohol shakers for World War II veterans. I'm sure he was a great guy. I don't know. There's really no evidence that the dad did anything except for when he disappeared. So it's really hard. I don't think he would be putting that much effort into finding her unless he was that good, like that smart to know, like if I fucking hammer down, try to find her, get call him as many favors as I can, it's going to take the heat off of me, which it would. I don't know. Plus she was in a fight with him from Thanksgiving for whatever reason, because she didn't go home. They didn't live far away. Maybe it was a black guy. Maybe she was dating a black guy and he fucking killed her, and I wrote that down because it's 1945. Who the fuck knows?
Wow.
Racism existed in 1945. Don't pretend it didn't.
No, but you're the one saying that no.
I just want to speak for Private Dicks when I say racism still exists today.
Oh, for sure. 100%. But people would
Don't
be
bum people out with that news.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you're on this
Racism
Patreon, you don't know that. So just disregard. That'll get cut. You're good.
So next theory is the huntsman lumberjack, Fred Burdett. I didn't really say much about him. I did say that he saw her, but here's what he says. He claims to be the last person to see Paula Jean. He was the first suspect that they ever had, and he's been a suspect multiple times throughout the investigation. Now, over the first decade of her disappearance, Fred's story as to what he saw in the woods that night changed multiple times. At first, he saw her on the trail, heard a scream, and stayed in his house all night and did nothing with his girlfriend. The second story is he heard a scream when he was fighting with his girlfriend, and he stormed off after he heard the scream to let his girlfriend calm down. Another version, he hears a scream and he gets in his pickup and he just drives towards the scream. He changed things so drastically that it's like, dude, you're a shitty liar, or no, you're just either a shitty liar or you're just a shitty liar. Overall, you're either lying about doing it or lying about seeing her. You're just a shitty liar. These conflicting statements made him a suspect in 1946. He was a suspect again in 1955 as he started to brag to the locals that he knew within 100 feet where Paula's body was buried. He bragged to the police that he'd killed her. And then once they went and searched where he said the body was, they found that there was jack shit at all anywhere. And then when they got back to the station, and this is 1954, or 55, this is like 10 years after it happened. So when they get back to the station, he goes, yeah, I made that up. I was lying. I made it up for attention. So the cops were like, okay, I guess. And then a couple weeks later, he's at the bar hammered, telling everyone he killed her. They don't really have any evidence that he killed her at all. And he doesn't really have a thick record. It's not like he's got a history of violence. He just seems to be some weird hermit guy. There are theories that this guy is like a bootlegger, or was a bootlegger, or a smuggler or whatever. And he was going up and down the long trail, bringing whatever up into Canada. And maybe Paula Jean saw what he was doing and then he fucking killed her. But there was no body, like I said, no evidence. And there was no evidence of a crime ever actually occurring. So Fred was never actually formally charged. Fred's a big one. It seems weird that he'd make up stories 10 years later about this, saying he killed her or whatever. What do you guys think of Fred?
I think every male in that town is a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Even especially the Boy Scouts. They had the most to cover up.
Oh, I didn't even think of them doing it. Maybe that's why they were so ineffective.
They wanted to get their murder badge and their cover-up badge.
Most of the time, the Boy Scouts find the body. We know this. This is history.
True. Very true.
Yeah, could be. There's a bigger theory that goes along with this, and it kind of involves Fred. So I kind of separated it into itself, into its own category. But I would say if it is, it's Fred. But there's been a lot of talk during that time period when she went missing over the next decade or so that there was actually a serial killer on the loose in and around that area. Many people gone missing in that area, and the few years before and after Paula disappeared. The first person that went missing was Mitty Rivers. So he would bring people at 74 hunting on the Long Trail, and he went missing. And after a big search, not as big as Paula's search, there was nothing. They never found him. This was a year before Paula went missing. 3 years to the day after Paula's disappearance, James E. Tedford disappeared from a bus that was departing from Bennington. And then in 1950, which was 5 years after her disappearance, 8-year-old Paul Jepson went missing in the same area where Paula disappeared while his mother was distracted tending to her pig. And I just realized now, as I'm reading the script, that Paul Jeppson has the same name as Clara Jeppson, the clairvoyant. I wonder if there was a connection there. I didn't even think of that.
Ooh.
But the little 8-year-old was never found either. Okay. 2 weeks after the kid, Frida Langer went missing. Another giant search party comes up with nothing. So there's been a long-standing theory that there's been a serial killer actually hunting those areas, because it died down. The missing thing died down a couple of years later. They had 5 the serial killer thing's cool. It's like a fun theory to think, and it could very well be. All right. But there's a couple of problems. Serial killers have patterns that a lot of them follow. And a lot of it, most times with serial killers, they'll kill within their race, which, okay, fair. Maybe they're all white people. So maybe.
Is that a real thing? Serial killers kill within the race?
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know shit, clearly.
Are you surprised that they're that hateful, that they're racists?
No, they kill. They're not racist.
Did you think better of serial killers?
No, they're not racist. They're not racist.
Well, I guess it depends on their motivation to be killing their own race. Is it like,
but is that okay? Wait a minute.
God, I hate other white people, or is it like I won't dirty my hands with?
Is that more though crime of opportunity, because like, you know, you usually live around the same people, you know what I mean, like communities and shit like that, based on like years and years of oppression and shit like that? Is that less about like serial killers are just like, I'm white, I gotta kill a white dude, I like white meat, you know what I mean? Like,
that went further than I thought it was going to.
I was trying to get RJ to laugh and it worked. I don't know. It's a thing.
White mate.
RJ's sending weird fucking hyena porn in the chat.
That's part of an investigation. I'm collecting evidence.
No, put it this way. It's a stat, and it's not 100% of the time, but it is most of the time. So, and there's also the whole, like, if you're a serial killer of children, typically you just kill children, or typically you just kill young white women, typically you just kill old people.
Children, serial killers killing children.
Serial killer who kills children.
I'm all cool with a serial killer that like sticks to their vice. But I didn't know that it was a real statistic that like, if I'm white, I have to kill white people.
Well, you don't have to do anything. It's just a stat. But I mean, the stats show that most people do that. You could kill whoever you want, Rick.
But what I want to know,
are you upset that you've killed people overseas with your?
He is. It's predominantly brown people with missiles, and he's. Oh no, I've been breaking the law by going outside my race.
That just means I'm not a serial killer.
Oh, yeah,
oh, that's hey. Not a serial killer. I only kill people who don't look like me.
Yeah,
I'm in the clear. I'm in the fucking clear.
Yeah.
No, all right. Continue. Like I'm still. I don't get it.
It's okay. Serial killers just have patterns. Okay, and there's no patterns going on with this. It's all over the fucking map. There's a couple patterns. The one pattern would be like no body's ever found. That's a part of a pattern. Like they would be very fucking good at that if that was.
What if it's not a serial killer? It's just a cannibal.
It could be like someone who lives, a wild man who lives in the bush and just eats fucking whoever comes his way. The big bad wolf coming after Little Red Riding Hood. You see where I was going with that thing, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the killer's MO. It's a bunch of old, young, middle-aged, all over the map with the ages. So it's just weird to me, but I mean, it could be. So the last theory, which is the most fun one, and it's not really a theory, but it's kind of, I'm going to say it's a theory. The area where Paula went missing is near a town called Glastonbury. It's a ghost town. Okay. And the area around Glastonbury in like a triangle formation is what is a place dubbed by Vermont author Joseph A. Citro as the Bennington Triangle, much like the Bermuda Triangle, but it's in a wooded area in Vermont where weird shit goes down. I don't know if you guys know what the Bermuda Triangle is, but it's like a place that in the ocean that goes from like Florida to Puerto Rico and up north in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm. And coincidentally, that triangle in the Bear Ocean is just as populated as that triangle in Vermont.
Essentially, except for there's one wild hyena killing people, apparently.
Gnoll, sir.
Gnoll, sorry.
It's a gnoll.
In Glastonbury, or around Glastonbury, all those 5 people went missing, but there's also a lot of bizarre sightings out there. Those, like I said, the missing people from the serial killer, they all went missing around the same time of year and around the same time of day. So 3 to 4 p.m. and it was always in October, November, December, all those 3 months. Now, I know those are the coldest months. Well, the starting of winter and stuff like that, people start getting, so maybe, but you figure if most people would go missing throughout the year, not just concentrated in the last one point in the year, right? And I heard that's one kind of funky thing about those missing people that is kind of serial killer pattern, but it's also kind of paranormal, if I might say. Also, there's a lot of talk about this Bennington Triangle being a feeding point for some sort of cryptid that lives in the bush. No. But they also said it was Bigfoot, which I don't condone because Bigfoot's peaceful. But Gnoll. All right, this is starting to sound a lot more like a theory.
Oh, now it is? Can't just fucking take me at my word. I see how it is.
I've been solving these left, right, and center, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's not my fault. It's always some kind of animal-human hybrid.
That's true. Or, since the Bennington Triangle, there's been a shit ton of sightings of UFOs in that area as well. Now, remember when I told you this James Tedford went missing on the bus? He legitimately went missing on a bus. He was on the bus 1 minute, and the bus driver looked up. He was off the bus. No one had gotten off the bus. So he legitimately disappeared from inside of a bus.
When did this happen?
1950. After Tesla died, just so you know. After they had already had UFOs out there from Tesla. So a lot of these things have been chalked up to UFOs coming and abducting people as well. So I brought it to Aliens Den. I did it. I'm great. To this day, they still have weird happenings and reports up in the Bennington Triangle area. Now, I've heard something that's happening up there. Terrifying voices on dead air radio. So they'll just have a radio on and just like, come and get it, or whatever the fuck they're saying. I like human meat, or whatever the fuck they're saying in it. That's scary.
Again, not scary, just very gay.
Very gay?
Yeah. You tend to drift that way for some reason.
Oh, okay. Like I told you, I want to hammer some dicks down this throat. I'm cool with it.
Like spooky things, like come and get it. I want meat. Put it in my ass, daddy. The scariest phrases.
Oh, those aren't scary. You made it not scary. You made it sexy. I was trying to make it scary. Aw, now I'm all sexy and I'm not scared of him.
Ooh, fill me with hot man butter.
Come in my mouth. All right. There's also been lots of reportings of seeing mysterious figures in the night, humanoid figures. So Gnoll shape, perhaps. And there's also been actually a couple plane crashes because they can't explain what's going on with their equipment when it happens. The Bennington Triangle is part of this theory. Paula Jean got sucked into the paranormal activity within the triangle. So those are all the theories on this.
Or based on my photo I sent, maybe she sucked her way into it.
Okay, I'm hot, man. So what do you guys think is most probable?
UFO.
The dad probably killed her because it sounds like he was pushing a little bit too hard for running away when it makes no sense that she ran away because she took nothing with her.
And then he overcompensated.
Yeah. So we're going with Archie. I like it. I like Archie as a suspect, and I like the theory that he did it because in reality, you're right. This is a pretty benign case overall, but she never was found or no evidence was ever found. So that's interesting. That doesn't happen often. But what did stand out to me while I was researching this was that disappearing for 36 hours. That doesn't make sense to me. Why are you going to run down tips in a little fucking diner in Vermont, like a little bit further up the road? It doesn't make sense to me. And you went to talk to the FBI. Okay. So I do like Archie as a suspect, and he went through his life like that. Unfortunately, I tried to look up more of Archie and where he moved on to beyond whatever, but it really his claim to fame is those fucking alcohol shaker things, the cocktail shakers, and his kids. There's nothing really about his kids, his other three girls anywhere. Unfortunately, I don't know how hard the cops looked at Archie, or if he called in favors to get them to not look at him because he seemed like that kind of guy. I don't fucking know. It was 1945. Pretty corrupt time. It's still corrupt now, don't get me wrong, but you can't get away with it as easily. There's too many cell phones. I like Archie. I really do. As a realistic, RJ is gonna go straight with fucking Gnoll, but let's hear it.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you think, you're gonna sway me with that very coherent point? Come on.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Archie to take the fall though, so that people stop coming after what I think are very beautiful creatures. And I happen to share that opinion with a certain drawing of a woman in a certain picture.
What?
Okay.
Can you say all that again?
I was just saying they're beautiful creatures, like in the way that they're innocent. They're animals, let's not come after them. And apparently they're also beautiful to other people in other ways because they draw them in very steamy positions.
What website was that again? So people can go search.
I love that you're associating yourself with the
that
nameless and the
was-
faceless people on DeviantArt. I love that.
It's usually DeviantArt. I found that one on a little indie site called google.com.
Oh yeah, never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Weird. Must be a good upstart. Also, I want to kind of touch on, like, okay, let's eliminate all the ones. Gnoll for sure. Dad for sure. I think serial killer is a little out of the question. I think the Bennington Triangle is outrageous for sure. Her dying under the gravel is outrageous. But I also think she might have just died in the fucking bush. Like, I think that could be part of. I think she just could have just gotten turned around the nighttime, too cold, hit under some rocks or whatever, and then. The dad kind of makes more sense because of the fucking no evidence ever found, like no clothes or anything. So he could have disposed of it really well. I don't know. I'm going to go. Are we consensusing this with like Archie did it, but Archie could potentially be a Gnoll? Is that how we're going to pull this together?
I don't expect you guys to get on my level of thinking. It's okay. You can go with whatever you want, but I'll know in my heart what the real truth is.
I feel like I gotta go with RJ on this one.
Well, we're going Gnoll.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm not surprised, but I'm all the same glad you guys saw reason.
Okay, I'll go Gnoll. I just want money, gems. I don't want to lose it. So we need this.
Well, what do you think will get us the money? If you're comfortable sacrificing the truth for money, Richard, that's fine.
Oh,
I understand.
God.
Not everybody has morals.
I gave all the theories, so we're going with Gnoll. Everyone who listened got the whole story, basically. So Knowles will be fun. And Beau, she's from Australia, so she's not going to be smart enough to understand it might not be a Gnoll. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's true.
Yeah, so Abigail, can you like set up an appointment for ASAP?
Me? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Good. I noticed you've been picking up the phone lately, so good for you. You're learning your job.
Yep, figured that out.
She's only picking it up. She's not answering it.
She's not even saying hello. She just picks. What do I do now?
Private dicks.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
I'll give her a call and let her know that you've got a solution for her.
We figured it out, Beau. We did.
Really?
And it didn't take us long. And I think what we all landed on was that it is a gravelly Gnoll, the gravelly voiced Gnoll.
All checks out.
Yeah, it's almost like a were-dingo like you guys have over on your side of the world.
Look, that all checks out to me. I don't think that there's any other more plausible situation. I'm very proud of what you good-looking roosters did.
Seriously?
Yeah, you can have this case. Unless you're not supposed to, then I'll run away with it.
Oh, no. We could definitely use it.
Holy shit, is that real?
Abigail, you're looking at that too much. You're going to have to put this in the bank for us.
Where the fuck did you get an actual pirate's chest?
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on. The promo we're playing today is from my good friend Leroy Luna's podcast. Excuse me, that's illegal. Go check that out wherever you can. He's great guy. Always been very supportive of both Unethical and Private Dicks. He's one hell of a guy, and I hope to get him on both our podcasts very soon. So if you're an illegalite out there and you're listening to this, tell Leroy you want him on the show. You want him to be on Private Dicks and on Unethical. Go bug him. Illegalites unite.
Oh, hey there. You like true crime stories, right? Yeah, I know, who doesn't? But I gotta admit, after a while, all those stories of murder and heartache, well, they tend to go straight to my hips. So that's why I, Leroy Luna, have created a podcast called Excuse Me, That's Illegal, where we'll take a hardcore look at some softcore crimes. No TED Talks on Bundy here. The letters BTK won't be coming from these lips. Unless he had a brother that used to steal library books. Suppose I'd be willing to go balls deep into that one if that were the case. Anyways, you'll hear stories such as the Mad Pooper, a female jogger who wreaked havoc in a Colorado Springs neighborhood, using one family's front yard as her own personal dumping grounds. If this kind of content sounds like it's up your alley, Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available right now on all your favorite podcatchers. So come join me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
Hey there, all you private dickheads. That's probably not the name we're gonna stick with. Anyways, RJ here. I am here to tell you thank you for listening to another episode of Private Dicks. If you liked what you heard, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere they take your reviews, drop us 5 stars, say something nice. Also, what you just heard was from last season. If you want current episodes as they're dropped, head on over to patreon.com and search up Unethical Podcast. That's our mother podcast. I was not aware Private Dicks was a spinoff. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. On Patreon is a full 16-episode season, more of Private Dicks, uncut videos of each episode, and many more things are getting added all the time. You can also find all of Unethical's content on there, so go listen to that. And if you're already a patron, fuck yeah, dude. You're the best.